My next guest is the newest member of the UFC roster. He's going to be making his debut. It doesn't get much better than this in Kansas City against Evan Elder, UFC Kansas City, coming up here this Saturday. It's Gague Young joining us here on the program yet again. Gage, how you doing, man?
I'm good, brother. Just got done shaking out, got a little stretch out, so I'm feeling nice and loose, going into fight week. So, yeah, I'm feeling good, brother.
Let's go all the way back to you finding out you got the call, you'd be on this card. Like, I'm sure you were staying ready. And for those who don't know, you were supposed to fight, I believe, on that upcoming FAC card, which is on May, I think it was May 2nd or something around there, which, by the way, live on Spectation Sports for those who still want to watch that. So I know you were prepping and getting ready, but when did you get the call? How did this all come together? Take me through you getting this fight against Evan Elder.
So I think I got the call late Friday night. It was probably around like 9:30. They called me and like my manager was kind of like, "Hey, am I on speakerphone?" And I was like, "Yeah, you're on speaker, but I'm home alone." He was like, "Okay." Like he was just kind of beating around the bush. I'm like, "What do you want, motherfucker? I know why you're calling me. Like,
Yeah.
what do you want?" And he was like, "Well, a fight fell out against Evan Elder in UFC Kansas City, and there's an opportunity. You're a local guy. There's a good chance that you might get a phone call. So stay ready." And I was like, "Okay, no problem." I had some nerves and shit, so I went out there and hit the trail. I ran like a good little 6 miles just to kind of run some anxiety off. And when I got home, I got the phone call, and my manager was like, "You're a UFC fighter, brother. Congratulations."
Amazing. That's awesome. Who was the first person you told about the news?
The first person I told was actually some of my sponsors was Ashley Martin Security over there in Sedalia. They just happened to be dropping off some gear at my house, and I was like, "Hey, I might be getting a phone call here soon for the UFC. I don't know what the deal is yet, but they were actually the first person that found out."
Yeah.
And then my significant other got home right after that, and
Awesome.
she was the next to know.
Good stuff. Were you expecting this? I know when we talked before your last fight, I know you were kind of on the UFC's radar, obviously fought on Contender Series and, you have a good record, you're young and all that. Did this come as a surprise at all? Or was this something where you're like, just in case, especially with it being close to home, I might have a shot of getting on this card? What was sort of your expectations prior to getting the call, I guess is my question.
Man, I knew that there was that the opportunity was going to be there, there was a chance that somebody might fall out in my division. Uh, and I had already been training anyway. I knew Kansas City was a week before May. And yeah, I was expecting it, to be honest. I was kind of starting to lose hope a little bit. There was a bunch of local Kansas City guys here calling to be on the card. And yeah, I was just kind of losing hope a little bit. The weeks were kind of going by, and I'm like, okay, we're 2 weeks out from my fight. So I kind of gave up on the idea of fighting in Kansas City. And yeah, it's so crazy because I was talking like weeks in advance. I was like, dude, like there's not too many lightweights on this card. But if something does happen, I will fight Evan if I have to. Like me and Evan have some history. We used to train together back in the day.
Yeah.
And it's kind of shitty that we have to fight each other. But I remember talking to my coaches like 7 weeks back. I'm like, dude, if something happens and I end up having to fight Evan, I'm willing to do that. And it's just business at the end of the day, and this is a big opportunity for me. But yeah, so it's kind of weird how it all happened, man. It's real strange. I feel like God works in mysterious ways, and through training camp, I was telling my coaches like, man, I'm not even training for anybody specific. I'm training for me. Like I'm trying to tighten everything up for me, for myself and my game. And it just works out perfect because I wasn't putting too much energy into fighting any one specific style. I was really just kind of focusing on what I needed to do to tighten my own style up. And yeah, God works in mysterious ways, bro.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I kind of figured there was some history with the two. Kansas City's kind of small that way, right? In terms of like training and all that. So take me through like when you guys used to train together, like how familiar you were with him and all that. And obviously I know it was a while ago because he was in Florida and I believe now he's in Vegas, if I'm not mistaken, training over there at Syndicate. So take me through sort of the history between you. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a while ago. I don't really remember too awful much about like how our rounds went and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we were definitely spending time together. I've had lunch, I've had dinner with the dude a couple times. I would consider him a friend. I don't really remember in the specifics as to how like rounds went and shit
Oh yeah,
like
no,
that.
not that. I think that's kind of in bad taste too, where people are like, "Oh, I got the better of him in training." Like I just sort of meant like, like what the history was. So, were you guys on the same team or like what? Like where did you guys train together?
I guess you could say that we were on the same team for a little bit. He was in Kansas City training under Glory MMA over there
Oh,
with
right. Okay. Yeah.
James Krause and them. So
Yeah.
we had a pretty big room,
Yeah.
and I was young at the time. You know, we had a bunch of high level guys in there. It was a deep room, and I was still kind of working my way up the pecking order. And so I was just a sponge in the environment, soaking up all the knowledge I could, get training with the best bodies I could train with, and I have a good style, I have a good frame, so I was being used with a lot of the higher level guys. They were using me a lot, so yeah, man, it's weird how it happens. But he was in the room for maybe a handful of weeks, maybe a couple months. I'm not sure how long he was in the room. I don't really remember that well, but yeah, I don't think he stayed around for too long. It's like whenever he was in town, he would pop in, he would train there for a couple weeks, he'd leave town again. It was kind of one of those situations. So
Yeah.
we didn't it's not like we were training together nonstop all the time.
Yeah. Did you message him at all when you guys got the fight, or are you going to save that to say hi to him on fight week?
He actually reached out to me, man. He hit me
Yeah.
in the DMs. We exchanged a couple words. Evan's a good dude, man.
He might be
He's
one
a
of the
nice guy.
nicest guys I've ever met. Like, I
He's
don't
a
think that
nice
guy,
guy.
I don't know anyone who has a bad word to say about him too. So
No, yeah.
it's kind of tough to, I'm sure, fight someone like that. That's just, it's like,
Yeah.
he's my opponent, but he's hard to, get in that mind frame.
Right. No, Evan's a good dude, man, and he reached out to me, and we had a couple words, but yeah, we understand what this situation is. It's just
Business.
business,
Yeah.
and we'll celebrate the money we make afterwards together, and it'll be I'm sure it'll be a pretty friendly fight week.
So how do you feel like your style matches up against his? Obviously, you're both different from when you trained way back in the day here, but how are you looking at this fight stylistically?
Evan's a good dude, man. He's like a good body, good frame, good power on him. He's like super Dutch style, likes to end combinations with kicks. I have the ability to kind of jab draw a little bit. I can manipulate the range well, and I think that he does a good job at mixing everything up. I'm sure he'll find a couple fit ins, but yeah, man, I think we'll get in there and fight for the space a little bit. There'll be a little bit of like kickbox feeling out range, and then like once we start to get a feel for each other's range, we'll probably start to crash a little bit more. Uh, yeah, I think it's a good matchup for me stylistically, to be honest.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good fight, and I wanted to emphasize that you were training for a fight because when people hear short notice, they're like, oh, it's huge disadvantage, right? But like you were already in camp and you were already preparing for something that was coming up here. So what was camp like, sort of leading into this, and who'd you get to work with as far as bodies in the gym?
Just the same guys I've always worked with. Camp went well, brother. I mean, everything was on point. Cardio feels great. I was gonna keep that to myself that I was preparing for a fight, but cat's out of the bag now. Because everybody thinks it's short notice. There's nothing. There's nothing to
It just
lose.
so happens because I work for Spectation and all that. We stream the fights and all that. So that's the only
Right.
reason I knew. So if I let it out of the bag, my
Yeah.
bad on that one. But
No,
got to
you're
promote
good,
the card
man.
coming up.
No, yeah. You're good, bro. Man, I feel good about it. Like, it is what it is. Camp went well. You know what I'm saying? I was dealing with some nicks and bruises here and there, but I kind of tapered off at the right time. I feel like I was staying ready beforehand for something short notice just in case. So I was kind of in and out of the gym. I was in the gym training hard, keeping a good pace. And my body was a little beat up. So I kind of let off. I was starting to peak at a weird time. So I kind of let off the gas a little bit. I let the little nicks and bruises kind of heal up, where I'm feeling more comfortable in my body. And I started hitting it hard again these last couple weeks. And honestly, I think I'm peaking at the perfect time because my body was already kind of wanting to peak for the fight because I had been staying ready for so long. You know what I mean? And for the fight to get moved up a week earlier at a bigger stage in my hometown of Kansas City, like the stars are aligned, brother, and it's an opportunity that I cannot pass up. I have to take this opportunity. I will take this opportunity, and I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna shine, brother.
Love it. How's the weight? Got to ask again. I know you're supposed to fight a week later, but everything okay? That's good.
Weight's good, brother. I ain't gonna miss weight. I'm a professional.
There we go.
Weight's on point. I'm a young kid. I'm water loaded.
Got that
I've
high
been training
metabolism.
hard.
That always helps too, right?
Yeah, I'm
There
a
you go.
young kid, man. That weight will come off. I'm not worried about the weight.
Okay. And your corner. I imagine if it ain't broken, don't try and fix it. Who will be in the cage with you?
It's gonna be Zach Cummings and Jason High, and my manager Joe Wooster will be there too.
Oh, cool. Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
And how's this fight playing out on Saturday? This is one I think has got potential to be fight of the night, knowing your styles here. How do you see this one unfolding?
Yeah, it's a sleeper, man. A lot of these guys don't know me the way they think they know me. There's a lot of talk online about my style and what I bring to the table and how the Dana White Contender Series fight went. And man, we're gonna meet in the middle and we're gonna dance. We're gonna fight for range. There's gonna be some up down, I'm sure. There's gonna be some cage control, and he hits hard. I hit sharp. I'll make him miss. I'll make him pay. That's how this fight's gonna go.
How do you take a moment like this week and not get overwhelmed? Like you've got, again, this is your debut. It's in Kansas City. You're going to have a ton of people, cheer. It'll be interesting actually to see how the crowd does because you guys are both kind of local here. But how do you not get overwhelmed? Like you're a young guy. This is a huge deal for you. How do you keep things even keel and just focus on the task at hand?
Gratitude, brother.
Nice.
I'm a grateful individual, bro. God has blessed my life in a lot of ways, and I got I got a I got a crazy support system here in Kansas City, bro. And I know the real people are gonna love me, win or lose this fight. Like I'm gonna go out there and let my nuts hang. I'm gonna be in there throwing them things. I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna fucking put it on this dude. You know what I mean? And I'm willing to get hurt to try to do so. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And I'm a good dude. I know I'm a good dude. My family knows I'm a good dude. The people who love me are gonna love me whether I win or lose this fight. And yeah, gratitude is the best way to do that. So I'm handling these emotions. It's a roller coaster. You're up, you're down. You might jerk side to side sometimes, but gratitude will keep you grounded. And yeah, I got a lot to be thankful for. And dude, I'm in this for life. This MMA shit is my life. Like I've been working so hard, like so hard. So for this to happen the way it has, as unfortunate as it is, like it's Evan, like me and Evan have to fight. Like it's at home, it's in the, you know what I'm saying? It's in the T-Mobile Arena, so it's just a big opportunity, dude. And I'm super grateful to be a part of this show, and I'm gonna go in there and shine.
And we can't wait for it, man. Gage, thanks so much for doing this, man. We're looking forward to it. UFC Kansas City this Saturday. If there's anyone you want to thank before we get out of here, any sponsors, any social media you want to mention, I'll give you the last word.
Man, just shout out to everybody at home, man. You guys know who you are. I love you guys, and this week we go to war, baby. Come on, let's go.